Hey, good morning to you. 6:30 comes awful quick, doesn't it? Seems like this clock goes around 24 hours mighty hurriedly. Welcome. It's 29 this morning as we're waking up. That wind chill factor at 23 degrees. Now, it will warm up a little bit later today. 53 is the high that we're searching for. Not bad. Next week will probably be a different story as we get into a lot colder weather that is on the way. We've got details on that and so much more this morning. Hope everyone is feeling well. We've got all the latest of what's going on. Of course, there's been a fire overnight. Meridian Fire Department's been battling a blaze that was just off of Highway 19. If you're traveling up it from the airport boulevard from I-20, it will be to the west, back in there. We'll tell you more about all of this and more here in just a little bit as we begin this day. Be careful. We'll be right back. Let's get some good words. Let's go out to First Baptist, get our message for the day. We'll be right back.
I've often heard people say there are some things worse than death. This is usually said in reference to someone who has suffered a great deal with a terminal illness or something that is just chronic. The same can be said about poverty. There are some things that are worse than poverty. Proverbs 28:6 says, "Better a poor man whose walk is blameless than a rich man whose ways are perverse." Solomon here is not talking about a poor man who does not sin at all. He's talking about a man who lives above reproach and does not carry around all that comes with unconfessed sin. He's talking about someone who has believed God for salvation and walks with God day by day. The poor man who is blameless may find suffering in the midst of his poverty, but he is rich in God's mercy and forgiveness. His poverty does not determine where he stands with God. Solomon contrasts this with a man who is rich and whose ways are perverse. He's talking about a man who may have more money than most, but lives as if he's not accountable to God. He loves what his money can buy. His wealth does not determine where he stands with God. You know, we are defined much more by our character than by our financial condition. When it comes to eternity, rich or poor is given no consideration. I've known several rich people who walk with the Lord and do what pleases Him with what He has allowed them to have. I've also known poor people who do not know God or walk with God at all. What matters most is where we stand with God and not our standing in society when it comes to finances. Let's keep our eyes on the things that matter most to God. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Change Begins in You. I hope you enjoyed that episode. They'll be open tomorrow afternoon for Wednesday night services. Hope you can make it out for that. Collinsville First Baptist Church. How do you feel today? As we mentioned, the temperature very chilly this morning, 29, the wind chill at 23. As you crack your front door to go warm up that car. That's what you're going to be feeling. Do you remember in America when an entrepreneur had a dream, an idea to open a business? Normally, they either had a little bit saved or they went to the bank and they borrowed the money, and, well, it's up to them whether they make it or not. If they failed, then it was on them. We've seen the college loan situation in America to where they're being bailed out and the American taxpayer has to pay for this. We go to New York for this story, and I said all of that because I don't exactly agree with this. Maybe you do. If you do, then please let me know in the notes there. Cannabis stores. We all know what that really means. In New York, they started a program a year or two ago to where they offered X amount of money to business owners to open. Interest rates were kind of steep there, and they were expecting other entrepreneurs to give to this to get these businesses started. Well, the loans are high. These folks that, I think there's 150 of them that's in it, that owe a lot of money. Well, they're having trouble making their notes. They're wanting a bailout from the U.S. government. Now, that would be upon most likely the taxpayers of New York, but all that trickles down to funded money from the government in each state. Is that right? Normally, if your business doesn't make it, it doesn't make it, and you have to foot the bill, file bankruptcy or whatever it is. But should the taxpayer have to bail out another group? because it didn't work? I don't seem to think so, but again, you may look at it differently than I am. Boy, we'll go to Florida for our next headline, to where an illegal alien has been arrested for kidnapping and raping a 13-year-old. That's the unthinkable. And yes, we do need borders, don't we? Chuck Todd, does that name ring a bell with you? He's with NBC, Meet the Press. He's been there 27 years, I believe it's how long he's been there. He's quietly meeting with other networks trying to find another job. No word yet as to why he's leaving the network, but Meet the Press will be without him. 27 years, that's a long time. 2 aircraft carriers getting ready to depart or being built are going to be named, as Biden has already dubbed them. One will be the USS Bill Clinton. The next will be the USS George W. Bush. That's coming. Starbucks. I think we all know it. I've been in one, I think, over the course of my life. A lot of folks love the coffee. I just don't. I normally drink my coffee at the house or have one in my cup, and I go. I don't typically stop. I was there a few weeks ago. I met someone for coffee and had one. Starbucks is rolling back some changes that they had. Do you remember the issue they had a few years ago, to where there were 2 men in the bathroom? They called the law. They weren't paying customers. They were just loafing in the bathroom, wouldn't leave. They were arrested and they were sued by the 2 men, which was not right to begin with. They're rolling back that policy. They're going to be putting up signs that you can't be hanging out in their bathrooms, and you have to be a paying customer now to use the restroom. It's going to take more stores to do that, to stand up against this grim reality of the way the left wants the world to turn. You can't just go into someone's bathroom, a business, and hang out, do whatever you want in a business, and they just look at you. You have to be able to say, get out of my place. Starbucks is on a roll. That's taking over with the new CEO of the company. Should have been done a long time ago. Have y'all heard of this lineup that is coming for the inauguration on January the 20th? The Village People. You've seen him do the dance for the last 3-4 years, whatever it's been. They will be performing. Also, Kid Rock is going to be making his way there, and Carrie Underwood will also perform. There's a lot of people that's been giving Carrie a hard time about this. She says she sees this as a great opportunity to celebrate America, to go on to that different level. I do too. There's nothing wrong with her doing that. Those will argue with over that. Now, I don't have a problem with this. When you have a fire, you need all hands readily available. Am I not correct? When you run out of manpower, you turn to what you have. It's so bad in L.A. that they've had to turn, and you start using criminals, people that were incarcerated. Number one, I'm sure that the folks that are behind bars want an excuse to get out and do something other than sitting in a jail cell all day. They are earning $6 an hour while they do this. I think it's a little over 700 of these guys that are out, and women most likely also, that are helping fight the fires. I think it's a good thing. It's a way for everybody to help one another. You give back. I could be looking at it wrong. I don't think so. Let's see what else we've got going on this morning. Looks like there's going to be another weight loss drug coming out. Of course, we all know that name Ozempic that is out there that is helping people. Eli Lilly, CEO, says that they'll have a new drug coming out next year with this. Could be helpful. Our country needs help with this. Obesity is a problem. And I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but some people can look at a pork chop and gain weight. Y'all know what I mean by that? Just seriously, can take one bite. I don't understand it. Maybe it's DNA, it's genes. I don't understand everything. Tom Brady has hired private security to protect his home during the wildfires from the looting. I don't blame him one bit. They're trying to pick on him because he done that. There's no reason to do that. You have to protect what's yours. Security will do that. Here's one for you. It looks like the Dallas Cowboys coach, who has lost most of their games, is not returning. Will this happen? Jerry Jones, speaking with Deion Sanders, will he become the coach of the Dallas Cowboys? We'll see. It's a possibility. That's pretty strong, isn't it? As we go back and forth on this of the wildfires that are going on in L.A., a clip that's out there, I'm not going to play it. It's just not worth playing there. But you get into all of this DEI and all these different programs that people try to push. They've got one of the assistant fire chiefs out there pushing that agenda. It just doesn't make sense during a time of need for our country. Leave that stuff alone. They have another fire that has erupted in the L.A. area. They're dubbing it the auto fire. It erupted last night during a homeless encampment in the Santa Clara River in Ventura. Let's pray they get all this under control. You have to do, and if you'll talk to anybody about management of land, you have to do burning and things of this nature to make sure that wildfires don't get out of hand. It's done every year. That's why the wildfire services is out there. They do so much. Here's something that's going to rattle a few folks. It's good intentions, and I see for one day it making sense there. The Texas governor has ordered the flags to be raised on January 20th for the inauguration of Donald Trump. He says, we are celebrating the life of Jimmy Carter, but on the 20th we shall raise flags as a new president, as it brings about a new beginning for America. It's going to happen. Haven't heard about what the state of Mississippi is going to do just yet. TikTok says this is not true. I've seen it all over the place. I read it 3 or 4 times yesterday, to where there was negotiation supposedly with Elon Musk to buy it. That would almost give you a tingle and go, whoo. But TikTok is saying none of those stories are true. I don't know whether to tell you it's true or not, but that's what is being said. And I guess this would be a big surprise. There's a lot of people that watch Wheel of Fortune. A woman was on it a couple of years ago. She was invited back for the 50th anniversary, and she did the puzzle, and it was, will you marry me? And then out comes her boyfriend from behind and proposes to her. What a good little story there. Love, love, love in the first degree. We'll be right back as we get into your forecast to find out just how cold it's going to be. There's a few of the headlines that are shaping America this morning. Lots to think about in those stories there. Every bit of it in some shape, form, or way does affect you. It trickles down to the American taxpayer. We'll be right back.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes, and Garrett Sport exactly what you need. Habo shirts, long and short sleeve, also Hulk shirts, and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Those record highs, record lows, back in 37, it was 78 degrees today. Back in 2011, it was, cold, 15, as we look back on the coldest day. This is what we've got for today. It looks to be about 53 for the high. A few clouds and making way for sunshine later on. Columbus a little cooler at 51 as we start at Greenwood and go down the river. Should warm up to around 54, Natchez, Brookhaven, and even maybe 55 around the Hattiesburg area there as you go south toward the coast. As we go east into Bama, Demopolis should see 52 at the river there. Should see 53 somewhere right around that in Livingston, Alabama, and 49. Not getting out of the 40s there in Burmaland. As we'll see Gadsden, Alabama, somewhere around 47 this morning is what we're expecting. And, Auburn around 52. What is that? That's cold. That's what we see in the future as we glance across what's going to happen the next 7 days. Here's our forecast as we start looking at things. 52 for today, 54, 57, not bad. Now, we're going to warm up Friday and Saturday, as you'll see this. Into the 60s, we will go into a January. It brings about a rain chance. Friday coming in at a 50% chance. Saturday, we'll get that 40% chance of rain. And then things begin to change, as we'll see Sunday with a high of only 48. Now, look at what is happening here. Monday, we're at a 40% chance with a high of 40, with a 30% chance of something is what we're looking at. Now, the last I checked, we'll be working on this. Could this be snow moving into the area, some form of ice? It could be. As we look at Tuesday, the high only 34. So make sure that you've got everything taken care of. Plenty of firewood. You've got all of your butane ready, some batteries and things, because you just don't know what will come up with this. 34 the high on Tuesday, down to 21 on Tuesday night. Now, Monday or Tuesday will be the day that we're affected by something. One of these charts shows us getting some ice or snow, and another one says it's not going to happen. It is just simply too far out for any forecaster to really know. We're just telling you there's a chance, and then we'll define this as it gets closer. As we get to Wednesday, it starts warming back up. 39 for that high. That's warmer than 34. And by Thursday, we're back to the 50s as we climb out of this cold spell, with lows in the 40s at night, but we're hitting 50s during the daytime. It will be absolutely miserable as we look at this next Monday and Tuesday. We want you to be prepared for this. When we get 19, 20 degrees at night, 21, it's all the same. It's brutal cold, whether you're a pet, a human, whatever you are, outside is almost treacherous to be there. And then you factor in wind chill. It will be horrible. Start taking care of things now. Today is Tuesday. We got 1 week to get everything done before then. Just wrap those pipes, make sure that you're prepared for that. Some of the coldest weather we've had. As we go to our fishing forecast this morning, here's what's going to happen. We've got a north-northeast wind around 5 miles an hour. Calm in the afternoon is what we're expecting. Major times to fish today is going to be right at 1 o'clock. We'll call it 12:50 till about 3 o'clock is the perfect time to go out and fish today. Sunrise at 6:56. The sunset's going to happen at 5:11 this afternoon. Brought to you by our friends there at J&J. Help you out there when it comes to that fishing. Now, let's look into the hunting forecast. You're thinking of going today. Here's the best times to be in the woods. 11:53 to 2 o'clock. We'll call it there noon to 2 is the best time to be in a stand. You'll have a minor time this afternoon right at dark, 5:30. So hunt this afternoon won't hurt you at all there. We got a minor time this morning also from 7 until 8. But your best time today is lunchtime hunt. You've heard of those noon hunts. They're saying it's it. Again, the sunrise is at 6:56. The sunset will roll in this afternoon at 5:11 as we start stretching daylight a little bit longer each day. Now let's go over and take a look at what we've got on radar this morning. Morning, Richard. How are you doing? As we pull up radar this morning, here's what we got. A little bit of fog to the northeast of Huntsville, Alabama, as you're moving into to the areas there of Tennessee. Murfreesboro's got a little bit of fog this morning as well. Cool down here in Douglas, Georgia, as we look at this. This is what we got going on. Not much in Mississippi. It's a clear across the state there. Look at that. It's 35 there in Nicholas, Georgia. As we glance around here, let's go up and look at Stark Vegas this morning. We're sitting at 23 in Whispering Pines, Mississippi. Ooh, that's chilly. Let's go up here near Houston. We didn't even get a temperature up in there. We're looking at 23 in that area there. Amory, Mississippi, 21. It's cold weather out there as we look around. And again, we're sitting at 29 in Meridian. Let's look at Clarksdale up in the Delta, 28. As you get up here near the state line, still 23 in Mississippi. Corinth, that area, around 21 this morning. So we've got some low 20s, and believe me, be up in here, pipe concerns up in those areas there. So it's chilly. I didn't check anybody in Alabama. Let's just look over toward Livingston. We're at 28. York, Alabama, we're at 28 degrees this morning. Over in Lisbon, a steady 28 degrees. And over in Butler, we're also at 28. So pretty smooth as we look to our far east there and look around. So nothing bad going on there at all. As we'll get ready for the morning show here in just a little while. Already 6:49, sunrise coming in about 5 to 6 minutes from now. Y'all get ready for this. We got to get a pot of coffee going. I got to have it. Been a rough night. The Meridian, if y'all see a Meridian firefighter, y'all pat them on the back. They have had a rough 2 to 3 weeks.
They're sleeping right now.
They just got back from a fire.
They did it at Waffle House, didn't they?
Yeah, they're probably at Waffle House going past me some syrup. They've battled car fires during the nighttime hours while we slept. They've done a little bit of everything, but they deserve a pat on the back there for what they've done. We're going to be live with you here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, you can look on our page. We've got the latest fire. We were there on the scene just about an hour or so ago. I think it was 4:30 that fire broke out. And what's interesting about this, we'll talk about this. Do y'all remember last year I was on the scene and the firemen tried to save a puppy? They gave the little puppy oxygen. Do y'all remember that? The little pup made it. It's the same house. This is the second time that house is caught on fire. Wow. But it was the exact location, that little puppy, who did make it. Yeah. So I don't think anybody was injured this morning, but just something to keep in the back of your mind there. Whew. Mama Chick, what you texting me about? We'll find out what she's got to say. We'll be right back to begin the morning show.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.